Imagine it's the summer of 2026. Inside Miami Stadium, the tiny island nation of Cape Verde takes the pitch against the reigning titans of Argentina. The odds of victory are astronomically low, but the moment the whistle blows, something strange happens to the neutral fans in the stands. They start cheering for the tiny island. Neuroscientists describe this as a specific chemical reaction. The predictive brain calculates an expected outcome, and when the exact opposite happens, it rewards you with a massive spike of dopamine. We love an upset because the brain loves being surprised. This fundamentally conflicts with social identity theory, which suggests human self-preservation drives us to align with successful dominant groups. We usually bask in their reflected glory to boost our own social status. Evolutionarily, we are wired to back the winner. Yet, put an unaffiliated observer in front of a mismatched competition, and that evolutionary self-preservation evaporates. Given the choice between aligning with guaranteed glory or near certain defeat, we routinely throw our emotional weight behind the guaranteed loser. When a squad of American college kids faced the heavily favored Soviet hockey team in the 1980 Winter Olympics, the famous Miracle on Ice, viewers with zero prior affiliation were swept into a frenzy of support for the outmatched amateurs. If our reaction was driven entirely by the statistical thrill of a low-probability event, we would root for any chaotic outcome. We would blindly cheer for lottery numbers or random coin flips. But human allegiance is selective. Our emotional support is conditional. Before we commit, the brain runs a rapid, subconscious moral calculus, weighing the competitors against internal standards of fairness. This data visualization shows how researchers isolated the variables in a 2007 psychology study. They presented people with a hypothetical matchup. Team A is the dominant favorite, holding a 70% expectation of winning. Team B is the statistical loser, sitting at 30%. In a vacuum, virtually everyone identifies Team B as the underdog. Then the researchers introduced a hidden variable: resources. They revealed that the expected loser, Team B, actually commands a massive $100 million payroll. The statistical favorite operates on a mere $35 million. The moment observers learned the statistical loser had superior financial backing, their sympathy vanished. They instantly stripped Team B of the underdog label. The underdog label hinges on perceived deservingness. A statistical disadvantage is only the starting point. That sympathy evaporates the moment we detect an unfair resource advantage. If we know a true underdog lacks both resources and raw ability, how do we justify emotionally investing in them? We need a reason to believe they deserve to win. In another part of the 2007 study, two groups of participants watched the exact same video clip of a European basketball game. The footage was ambiguous, but researchers fed each group a different narrative about which team was the heavily disadvantaged underdog. The result was a textbook case of motivated perception. Despite watching identical footage, observers universally claimed the team they believed was the underdog showed significantly more hustle, heart, and effort. This chart shows the specific data from the study. The dark bars represent the top dog, who observers acknowledge has more natural ability, but the white bars show the underdog scoring drastically higher on the effort scale. Because ability is often viewed as static, we focus on effort, which is a choice. Our brains subconsciously invent a narrative of superior exertion so we can maintain our belief in a just world, a world where hard work compensates for a lack of privilege. There is a darker counter-theory to all of this. What if our support is just a socially acceptable mask for Schadenfreude, the malicious joy of watching the mighty fall? Do we actually care about David, or do we just want to watch a rock hit Goliath? To test this, researchers used the concept of the spoiler. They created a scenario where an underdog has mathematically zero chance of advancing in a tournament, but a victory would ruin a top dog's championship run. If Schadenfreude were our primary drive, support for the spoiler would spike. We would love the chance to punish the giant. Instead, the data shows our support stays flat. We don't care more just because we get to inflict pain on the favorite. We see this empathy versus malice dynamic in geopolitics. Researchers had participants read an identical historical essay about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but paired the text with one of two maps. One map visually minimized Israel by surrounding it with massive Arab nations. The other map visually minimized the Palestinian territories by centering a large Israel. This graph tracks the results from the map framing conditions. Framing a group as visually smaller drastically increased sympathy for them. But crucially, framing a group as visually massive did not decrease the baseline sympathy they already held. The underdog effect is an optimistic trait. It is driven by genuine empathy and a protective instinct for the disadvantaged, rather than malicious joy against the strong. This phenomenon extends beyond sports or politics. The urge to root for the long shot is a psychological reflex designed to protect our worldview. We live in a reality defined by the unequal distribution of wealth, status, and power. Looking at those systemic inequities on a daily basis leaves us feeling powerless. Cheering for the disadvantaged on a screen is an attempt to emotionally correct a universe defined by systemic unfairness. Using the underdog as a mental proxy allows us to restore a sense of balance. The next time you find yourself screaming at a screen for a team you didn't even know existed yesterday, pay attention to that feeling. You are projecting your own internal struggles onto those players. When they win, it proves that the deck isn't completely stacked against you either. I'm Hostname, and this is SM Says Psych. Thanks for watching.